Well, hello there.
Hey, Dr. Lamb, how are you?
I'm good. How's your son?
Hey, he's doing okay. We're just hanging out at the hospital right now.
Uh,
So
that's the worst.
we're on day number 9. They told us it'd be 2 or 3 days, and we're here at number 9.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
That's that's stressful thing to do.
yeah. I mean, I told myself, I said, I had my own timeline, and God had a different one, and so I just gotta trust His timeline and go from there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You don't ever know.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and so, but every day is a day closer to resolution, and that's a good thing.
yeah.
But at least we got good medical care in this country. So, you try to find the positives. I know it's hard. There's not much, but you try to find it.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's what I'm doing.
Um, I followed up with Dr. Widener today. She's one armed,
Yeah.
um, but she's getting better and she's working on your final draft on the edit.
Okay.
So, I followed up on that today. So we're in good shape. We got all summer, so don't worry about our end.
Yeah, we'll go back, Mila. Yeah, I trust that she messaged me today and said that.
Yep. Yep. I called her today and talked to her, check and see how she's doing.
Yeah.
So she's on it. And we're in
Yeah, so
blackout now anyway for about 2 more weeks. So
oh
nothing much happening now anyway.
yeah, so what's the process? So like after she gives me the edits, like what's next?
Goes to your committee, they approve it. We send it to the dean, put it in his shell, see what, if he approves it or if he wants changes. And then if he approves it, then it goes to the editor. And then after that, we schedule your final defense 2 weeks after that on campus.
Oh, that's not bad.
No, 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 it goes pretty quick once we get it approved. We've got to get the final. And the committee approval is just send an email, yeah, it's good. And then we put it in his shell. But remember, he's not going to open his shell up for a couple of days and then he'll close it again. So it's not going to be till the end of the month before he's even going to start reading them. I've got 15 in there now that have backed up. I mean, I was putting stuff in there 2 or 3 weeks prior to the blackout, but he never got to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But his mother passed away, and I know she was 97, but um, and they're not um, great day. They're not burying her until next Saturday.
Oh,
Um, so he's been in and out,
yeah.
but
Now,
we're in blackout now. So
is his family like here or is
it
it?
appears that most of them are here. His mother was living with him. It appears that a lot of them are here or the ones that are coming in, but I mean, she passed away back about, I think, like the 23rd of April, and they're not burying her for like a month. They're burying her next Saturday, the 16th.
Oh, okay.
So it's, not to talk out of school, but it's been, he's been there some and not, but we did at least get the letters for the people graduating. So that was good.
Yeah, and how was graduation?
Well, it's tomorrow.
Oh, it's tomorrow. Okay.
Tomorrow, and we had to get the final letters approving them to walk tomorrow. Well, we'll see how it goes. It always, at least it's indoors. We're not doing that stupid thing trying to be outside in the spring.
Okay.
At least we're back inside. So, if it comes a driving rainstorm, which it normally does, we'll only get wet between going from the gym to the basketball arena, and it's not that far, so it's not that bad. But yeah, we're doing morning and afternoon again, which is great. So it don't last for 3 hours, 4 hours. So undergraduates in the morning, and I'm going to be there for that because I'm probably going to have to carry the gonfalon for them. The undergraduate lady that normally does that, it's, the ranking faculty.
Yeah.
I'm overall, but she carries it for the undergraduate, but she's got gout in her foot, so I'm gonna have to go in the morning and be there for that one. And then I've got two of my docs that from organizational leadership, they claim that they've sent them the wrong paraphernalia, so I got to try to get them dressed tomorrow in something that looks reasonable. So it'll be a fun day. Always something. You know how that is.
Oh yeah.
You never, you never get to you never get to just work your plan every day like you started the morning with. It always changes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I know that role.
Yeah.
I work the uh just one second, Dr. Lane. No, thank you. I'm just trying to find a restroom for them. Is there a restroom I can use? Yes. Back towards the elevator, and then go around the back side. Those were locked. It just seemed like I couldn't get into those. Well, there must be somebody in them. Okay, thanks. There are two back there. Okay, thank you. Sorry about that, Dr. Lane.
Oh, you're fine.
Yeah, no, we got 2 weeks till we do our exams, so
Yeah, EOG's coming up. Yeah, everybody's in testing now, prepping for test. Uh,
yeah, I mean, based on our last data, I might be able to bring us from an F to a C in 1 year.
well, that'd be great.
Yeah, yeah,
That'd be great. Well, one of my folks that I had in that special cohort from Gaston,
uh-huh.
Daphne, you might have met Daphne.
Oh yeah, I know Daphne.
You
She was
know
in,
Daphne.
yep.
And she was interviewing at a school that, you know, has gone down. They've lost 15 points on proficiency and not met growth for 5 years. I mean,
Mhm.
it's going. And I told her, you got to have a year just to stabilize and stop the downward momentum.
Yeah.
Just can you hang on for a year, just to stop the downward, and then you can get started back the other way. But to think that you're going to stop a slide and it's going to reverse in the same year is almost statistically impossible. You have to stabilize. You just have to stabilize for a year. Just hang on
Hmm.
for a year, and then you can start working towards your goal. But if you try to turn it around in 1 year, you do too much and then it blows up. You got to have that year of that all you're trying to do is just stay even for a year. And then you can once you get that downward momentum stopped, then you can start back up. But that's the secret. That's the thing that people don't understand.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I come here, Mila. That's what I felt like I did for when I was there last year for the
Well,
half
yeah.
was, and then this year I got to put in my own systems, my own structure.
Exactly. You got to have a year just to stop it and get it and get it stabilized. You can't put in changes that year. That's the
Yeah.
worst thing you can do.
Hmm.
Don't start changing. Just get it stopped. Just get the
Yeah.
downward momentum stopped. Just have establish that we're going to have school every day.
Yep.
Bell ring, go to class. Bell ring, go to next class. Kids and teachers in the rooms.
Mm-hmm.
Just simple, real simple stuff that first year, just to get that drop stopped. I call
Yep.
it drop stop. You got to have that drop stop year.
Yep.
That's what I told Daphne is I said, now Daphne, if you go there, you're gonna have that year where you all you doing you can't change you can't come in and just I'm changing it just
Mm-hmm.
I'm changing everything.
Yeah.
They'll run you off before the year's over.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have a year just to get it stopped. And I said, but the problem is, will they commit to you for long enough to do that?
Well, was she interviewing in Charlotte?
No, she was
Oh,
interviewing in Lincoln at East
oh,
Lincoln Middle.
yeah.
She interviewed in Gaston and is interviewing in Charlotte, but this one was in Lincoln County.
Yeah.
And I said, here's your problem. If they write you a 2-year contract, they got to make a decision midway of the second year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are they really going to commit to you?
Mm-hmm. I,
Because you're not going to turn it around the first year. And if you try, you'll make it worse. If you try to turn it around the first year, you'll make it worse. You just got to get in the habit of having school the first year.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's a way to do turnarounds. I've done 4 of them. I know how it works. I've also made the mistake of coming in and trying to turn around too fast. I did that in my first one. I learned that real quick. But
Well,
thankfully, I had people that believed in me long enough that I kind of came through it. But I tried to turn it around the first year, my first one. I
mhm.
tried to turn around. I never made that mistake again.
Well, you remember when I came to you because my boss was, and it was hard for me, right? And so, you told me outlast her, which I did. So I outlasted her, and I was able to put my own. I was able to put what I
That's what
wanted
I'm
to
talking about.
do.
You got to outlast them because they want a miracle.
Yeah. And so once she left, and I honestly think she got a you know how you give someone a promotion to get them away from another role. So
Yep, yep,
I, I
yep.
I think that's what happened, and then but
Yeah, and it worked out. And see, that's what I mean. You can't let people like that get you down that
yeah,
don't know. You can't do that. And so
yeah. But well, I just wanted to check in, and I knew you guys.
I'm glad you did. I'm glad that you checked in. I try to see about you as much as I can and check in with Dr. Widener. I try not to bother you.
Oh yeah,
Um,
no, I truly appreciate you guys. You let me know when you're back on the Charlotte campus. Maybe I can come up and sit down and have
I
lunch.
will be there. Um, I will be there on the last weekend of this month, and then pretty much I'll be there, and then the first weekend in June, and the second weekend in June, and the fourth weekend in June, and the third and fourth weekends in July. I'm there pretty. I think I missed 2 weekends all summer. I'm there.
Okay, I'll definitely stop by. I would love to just
Yeah,
sit
just
down.
yeah. I'm there all the time.
Okay.
I hang out there pretty much all summer since I live in, just north of town. I
Yeah.
pretty much hang out there all summer.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I'll do that. I'll
Yeah,
stop by.
especially in June when I'm not officially on contract in June. I
Hmm.
don't go to the main campus much. I just go to Charlotte.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't fight the traffic to get there, but yeah, I'm there a lot. I can meet you there most anytime.
Okay. That's
All
perfect.
right, let me let some of these people in. It's good to see
All
you
right.
tonight.
Bye bye.
Continued prayers. All right, bye bye. Good afternoon, everybody.
Hi there, Dr. Lim. How are you?
I'm excited to be here. I was just talking with one of your principals, Robert. He called, he wanted to Zoom tonight. I wanted to see how he's doing.
Okay,
His son's in the hospital, and so he seems to be doing better. So that's good news, but
that's always good news.
it is. All right. And I see the rest of our group is joining in, and I've invited a bunch of people tonight. I have no idea who will show up.
Good evening.
Good
Good evening. Good evening.
evening, everyone.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Yeah, there's Leisha. Leisha's got her glasses on. Looks all official tonight. She wears hers to look to look smart and attractive. I wear mine to see.
Dr. Lamb, do you want us to put our names in the chat since it's going to be so many people?
Nah,
Okay.
no, that's okay. Now, what we'll do is I guess, Miss Guy will give you contact information tonight if you can contact her directly. Um, if you're interested in what she has to say this evening. Let some more of these people in. See what Jessica's doing. Jessica and Carl are at a school event tonight. Yeah, there she is. Hey there. So what's going on in Denver tonight?
We're in Lincolnton. We're
Y'all,
having our
y'all are
senior,
in Lincolnton. I'm sorry.
yep, we're having our senior sunset tonight. So
Oh,
all of our
okay.
all of our seniors come and
Oh,
we do our last night together.
oh.
Yes.
Why y'all doing what? When is graduation for y'all?
Sunday.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Uh,
quick.
y'all take summer vacations seriously, don't
No,
you?
everyone else is still, K-8 still goes to school through May 22nd, but we do our graduation at Belk Theater.
Yeah,
So we're at their mercy of when we have availability to do our
yeah. Well,
graduation.
but you know my old story about getting hit by lightning as a high school principal in Charlotte. That was the last year we did outdoors.
Yep. That's
So
the thing.
we're actually going back indoor this year at Gardner Webb after 5 years of bad weather and
Okay.
and strikes and tornadoes and everything in the world. So we'll be inside tomorrow, and we're going back to two ceremonies again. So they won't last 4 hours. So
That's
yeah,
great.
that's that. I'm excited about that. Um, yeah, me and bad weather at graduation don't get along well. Uh,
Dr. Lamb, Carl just said he's trying to get on the Zoom.
okay, let me see. Let me meet some of these other people here. Here's Latanya. Admit. I don't know why it's only doing one at a time tonight.
And then Jasmine Blow is my specialist in the department.
Uh,
Hi, good afternoon,
hey
or good
there.
evening.
It's good to see you this evening.
Hello.
Let's see who else we got. Okay. And there's Karen
Good evening.
with us. There's Mondale. He's driving. Mm-mm-mm. There comes Sean. There's Carl. There's the beard. He's got strong beard game tonight. Look at him. You got it. There's Sean. How are you tonight?
I'm good, thank you. How
All right.
are you?
Oh, I'm excited to be here. You know me. My age is just good to get out of the house. Uh, I'm having the time of my life. Well, it's 7 o'clock, and our group is all here. I don't know. Let's see. There's Naisha. She's in my other group. Uh, and I'm recording this, and so I can play it for the others that might not make it tonight. All of our classes here, and so I'm gonna wait about 30 more seconds. I've got a couple more that look like are pending. Mm, I believe they finally cleared. All right, I believe we've got everybody that's here right now. So, good evening. This is EDLS 738, Law and Policy. This is my group from this semester. They've had to endure me. They get to go to Dr. Patterson next semester for their last semester of classes, and they just broke my heart last weekend in Charlotte when I told them that they just cheered, like they've just been killed to be with me for a whole semester. So, um, just as a reminder, before we turn it over to Miss Guy, who's here from Charlotte Mecklenburg from their talent acquisition division. We will meet briefly after she gets through just to go over timelines and summer issues, but not to take any more of her time. Miss Guy, thank you for being here tonight and sharing about the talent acquisition pools. And Miss Blow is here with her. Thank you both for being here. I'll mute myself, thankfully, and turn it over to you.
All right. Well, thank you, Dr. Lamb. Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. So again, I am Shantilia Guy. I'm the Director of Talent Acquisition Leadership in Charlotte Mecklenburg Schools. And I have along with me Miss Jasmine Blow, who serves as my specialist. And so we're excited to be with you guys today, just to help you, give you a little bit of information about our talent pool process. So I'm going to drop in the chat for you a presentation so that you can also follow along with us. And then also it'll help you to have access to the links as well that we will be referencing as we go through. So I have introduced us. You can see our photos there on the screen, if Jasmine advanced there. So one of the things we also like to do is a little bit of icebreaker. As you guys know, this is May. May has a lot of things going on. So what is for you all, one of the celebrations that you look forward to most in the month of May. So feel free to come off mute and share your why as well once you choose yours. And if it's not there, share something else. We'll take a few of the responses from the group.
Well, if I could start, I'd say Mother's Day, of course.
Okay.
My mom had 7 children. She was actually the first elementary school PTO president in the history of Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools.
Wow, that is
Yeah,
amazing.
little well-kept secret. And she had 9 children, all of which attended and graduated college. And she's 88. We were sitting the other day and she was like, how old am I again? So I had to pull the calculator out and do the math. So yeah, but that's one of the reasons why it's just all short of a miracle that she sustained everything, and coming up when she did in rural North Carolina, and having to see us all fulfill her dream of being successful graduates of higher education. So
Love it.
that's my memorial or May memorial thought.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing, Ms. Staten. I love that. History, all right, here on the Zoom. I love it.
So
All right.
I'll go next, and
Okay.
I'll say May the 28th is near and dear to me because that was the day I had my son. His birthday is May the 28th. His name is Aiden. He will actually be 5 this year. He's graduating from preschool, heading to kindergarten. And also Mother's Day is also another special time for me because I had him in May, and then he also made me a mother. And he is my why behind everything that I'm doing now. So for him to see me accomplish all of my goals and to do all the things that I want to do, he is my reasoning and my why. So I'm so grateful for that date.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else?
I'll go next.
Um,
I'll I'll s- uh, I'll go next. Vernon Mondale Tucker. I would have to say Memorial Day. Memorial Day because my father is a Vietnam veteran, two-time Purple Heart recipient. So every time I think about Memorial Day and think about our heritage and thinking about patronizing the flag, I think about my father who served in the time of the Civil Rights era, in a time where you were drafted to go to the service, and he was drafted to go into the service. He made it out, did not get killed, and thus he had me and my sister, and was able to do that with my mother. And so I'm thankful that for Memorial Day, every time I think about Memorial Day, I'm thankful that I have a surviving father who went through and endured the war and hardships and was able to produce a family, went on not only to go through with the traumatic things that you go through after post-war, but served time in the post office, United States Post Office, where he was the president of the letter carriers, the president of the union here in Fayetteville. So when I think about Memorial Day and Memorial Time, I think about our veterans. I think about those who served. I think about those who gave their lives. The saying goes that some gave all, but all gave some. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. We'll take one more.
For me, when I think about May, I think about my support system. My birthday is May 12th. My sister's is May 11th. My other sister is May 21st.
Oh, wow.
And really, they're the ones that keep me here in this program. Because when I feel like I want to give up, they're the ones like, you've gotten this far, you can't give up. And it's always a, a time when we get together as a family, no matter where we are, to just be together for a week, because we all celebrate our birthday at the same time.
Awesome. I hear the accent. Where are we from?
I'm from Jamaica.
I love it. Love it. Awesome. Thank you all for sharing. Definitely good to hear what means the most to you, because it's a lot of things that happen in each of the months, and there's something special about those for everyone. And someone else also in the chat says that May 11th is their birthday as well. So, and a happy birthday to all of our May birthdays. All right, so thanks for participating. So now we'll go ahead and hit with our goals. Is basically we want to be able to provide you guys with an overview of our school executive talent pool and hiring process for administrators. As you know, CMS is a little bit different in which it's not the old-fashioned way in which, hey, I'm gonna reach out to a school directly, send my resume, and I can go and just go straight to that principal and set up to have an interview with that team like that. No, it is not that way anymore. So on our next slide, basically what we do is we have a group of pre-qualified candidates that demonstrate that they're ready for the principal or assistant principal roles in our district. And what we do is we screen through that pool to ensure that we have found strong, diverse, and prepared leaders whenever we have vacancies to arise in CMS. And so it is a process in which you will go through to actually get into our talent pool, but that's the first step in making it into a leadership position of principal or an AP, because then it's still the time of one, you have to apply to those vacancies that come. And then also there's the screening process that happens throughout all of that. So at this time, what we're going to do is really talk to you about that, because I know as some of you may be finishing up with programs or looking at opportunities to move into new positions and things of that nature, we want to ensure that you have the understanding of our talent pool process, because it is not the same in every county and district. So we want to make sure if we are one of those districts that you're interested in, you know exactly what you need to do to take that next step. So if we go to our next slide, I'm going to start with Jasmine, who is going to kind of give you some insights on how our pool works.
All right. Well, good evening, everyone. I'm glad that you all could be on here, and it's a pleasure to have the opportunity to really talk about our talent pool process. So, of course, it starts with applying online. This bit.ly down here at the bottom, I believe Shantilia shared it in the chat earlier. So if you're following along, you should be able, or you are able to just go ahead and click on that image, and then it will take you to a specific website. I will actually show you I'll walk you through. I have a few tabs up, but I'll do my best to walk through everything. So first is our talent acquisition leadership website. On here, again, it just provides an overview on what our talent pools are in a little more detail. And then we have a graphic down here. We're actually going to touch on that together later. But specifically for when you're getting ready to apply, right, you logged in, you've kind of created just a blank shell account in our ATS system, our Higher Enterprise. We specifically have a few requirements for the assistant principal pool. And so here is the 2-page document that goes over those details. I want to take just a little bit of time to go through each of these required application documents because they are very specific. We do have two. We have our AP pool and our principal pool. There are a lot of similarities, but then there are a few differences as well because they are two different roles. So we'll start with letter of interest. And so with this being the first required document, we really pride ourselves on providing opportunities to pull out as much information from candidates. So we have 4 questions here that we provide to help structure your letter of interest. And so with that, of course, why specifically CMS, right? There's so many districts that in North Carolina that you could apply to. So we want to know why us. And then we want an opportunity for you to really sell yourself and talk about all your skills and strengths and abilities and your leadership experience to date. And then when you talk about your leadership experiences that you've had or that you're currently doing, how do you know that that is effective? And so I know right now everything is centered around data and, moving into blue data. And so when you're writing your letter of interest, just make sure you capture that in measurable results based on number 3. So specifically the leadership experiences that you speak about, then you would then further explain how that was effective by sharing your measurable results. So that would be your letter of interest. And so those questions are everything is linked inside of a link. And so on the application instructions under letter of interest, you'll see that those instructions there for you broken down a little more. The next required application document is your structured resume. And so I have that opened right here. We have 2 links there. I specifically am just opening up the sample one just so I can speak on that a little bit more for you all. And I will say, everyone has a resume. We're constantly updating it. I will say that this document here, really, the way that we have structured and really provided the outline for it, it really will tell the whole experience. And so taking the time to have a reflection on exactly what did I do in this role. We all have our main priorities and the main responsibilities that we have to do in a role, but then there's always additional leadership or additional tasks that we take on that makes a difference in that school, that's positively impacting student outcomes. And so really sit and you want to go above just telling us what we know that role encompasses. You really want to show all of the things that maybe you were voluntold to do or you just volunteered to do because you wanted to have that experience. Maybe you took on attending another PLC because you wanted to learn about that side of instruction, or you wanted more experience on the operational side, the managerial side. So just really looking to see what that looks like. So I'll give an example on this page right here. So right here, we have it broken down. The primary duties is the basic responsibilities that job or that role would have. Your leadership experiences are all the additional things, the additional hats we wear in a building. So right here, this candidate is a math teacher, but the leadership experiences includes they were the math department chair. They led the Algebra 1 PLC. They mentored beginning teachers or lateral entry teachers. And then they led some PD sessions. They supported the district. They were the co-chair of SIT, all of those things. So again, the sample is here just to kind of help you almost realize like how much everyone is doing. Everyone's capacity is so high. And so just really listing all of those things out, bullet point each. Under your leadership experiences, you'll list out any accomplishments that you've had. I will say if you have stayed at one school and had a lot of promotions within that school, then that could look such as this, where you just add the academic year. So let's say you were at, Charlotte Elementary for 5 years. The first year, maybe we were just getting our craft, we were getting familiar with the content, and then you became the PLC lead. So specify exactly what year you did that. PLC lead for 2 years. Okay, now I'm ready to lead the department. So kind of show us that transition too, by including dates for the academic year. Accomplishments, teacher of the year, teacher of the month, if you've served on your district level in any kind of way. And then from your results, so under accomplishments, we'll have our results. Your results will align with your leadership experiences. So for this candidate here, because they led the math department and they also led the Algebra 1 PLC specifically, their results are going to talk a lot about Algebra 1. And so this is an opportunity. If you are leading, new curriculum, or you're leading PLCs, you're supporting a department, then you want to capture the results based off of your leadership in those roles. And then, of course, additional leadership experience there. But I do just want to leave this on here and just pause for any questions because I know that was a lot. Are there any questions on letter of interest or the structured resume piece?
I have a question on the structured resume piece, and I've actually gone through this process once with restructuring my resume. Mm-hmm. For the number of degrees, do you want the most recent ones? For example, if we had one from earlier, our first degree. Mm-hmm. I mean, is
no,
two?
Yeah,
you prefer just the most recent?
No, list all of your education.
All of them? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. You worked hard for those, so put all of those on there. Absolutely.
Okay, all right.
Great
And then the
question.
other question is for the, because I do have that information, for the data, we're outlining the school for the free and reduced lunch and the English proficiency.
Right.
Or are we talking about the system? Are we talking about where we work?
So
That
it
data?
will be for that specific school. So Morrison High School, that is their breakdown of that school.
Okay. So if we change schools, we'll do it for each one.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And this is giving us an idea of the types of schools in which you have been working in. So that also is something that we'd like to see. So we can see, are you been primarily in Title I schools? Have you been in STEM schools? Things like that. So that's the reason for that. Yep. So we can see your population.
Any additional questions? Letter of interest or resume? The resume piece, I will say, it really will take time to sit down and reflect, truly think about all the different hats that you wear. No one is just a teacher in their building. No one is just, I just work in one content area. Like, we're all being pulled, and it's sometimes, again, you're volunteered, you're voluntold, but you're also just wanting those experiences. So you go seek those out, make sure you list them, and then also always tie everything back to what I did and what was the result of that, using measurable results as your method. All right, I will continue on. There's only 2 more required documents. It would be your summative end of year performance evaluation from 24-25. And so there's a few ways. If you are internal, we have some support there with locating that. And then, of course, we do have some acceptable alternatives if you do not have a 24-25 summative evaluation. And then the last piece is the licensure piece. We do have a section down here. If you are not yet licensed, and that would be all of us here, then we would need an unofficial transcript that shows completion or anticipated completion. Or you can submit a letter from your program executive director indicating the completion of your principal preparation program. All right. So just to move on from that, all of that is a lot of prep that you're going to put in before you submit your application. Moving forward, you've submitted. It will come to Chantilly and I. We will screen your application. In the event that maybe we need additional documentation from you, we will email in detail explaining what we need and provide an extension. And then moving forward, the talent pool notification. We will send out the outcome after you pass the screening event. We will invite you to participate in an interview, and then we will send out your talent pool notification. All right, so continuing to move forward, and Chantilia will hop in. We will, with our assistant principal talent pool, our vacancies are only shared internally to our candidates within our AP pool. Okay, so they are not posted on our external job board. So we will, as soon as the notification comes up in our district, we get the approval to send that out. We provide everyone in the talent pool an opportunity to express interest in that specific school if it aligns with your interest. And then it will go through the hiring process, which involves a series of interviews. And then there will be a recommendation for hire, and then it will come back to us and we will process you, and you'll start in that new role.
I do have one brief
yes,
question. My apologies for interrupting. So any other positions outside of an admin and being in the talent pool, any other positions, do they require the same format of the resume, or you can have your standard format? So if you want to just go into an admin position, not necessarily right away into principalship or assistant principal or the AP pool.
No, I will say the structured resume is a very specific format that pretty much all of CMS hiring managers is familiar with seeing. It really captures the candidate's experience the best because of how detailed it is. And so, um, to answer that in another way, no, your resume, completing your structured resume now you'll continue to add to that and add new experiences. But as you're applying in CMS, that would be the resume to use to support you in, expressing interest in whatever position that is.
Okay, thank you. I needed that
Mhm.
clarification. Thank you.
I have a question too, but I can wait to ask mine at the end.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So one of the things that we are also trying to help everyone to understand when you are part of the process, and meaning process of getting into that next step of interviews and things of that nature after you've made it through screening and application, then our competencies you see here is what is really being viewed when you are responding or answering questions within those opportunities. So each of these is pretty much what our schools are looking for and helping to build their profiles of what they're looking for in their leaders. And so they take the time to pull together um, their staff and community to give input and feedback of what do we want our next leader or assistant principal that's supporting our leader to be able to do as it relates to all of these competencies. So what we're going to do now is I want you to put yourself in the mind of, okay, I'm going to sit into a few interviews and I might have to answer a question as it relates to my belief in children. So the first thing is, one, what is belief in children? Let me ask that question first. In general, what is belief in children?
I'm of the opinion that it starts with understanding their why and trying to help them identify their place in society. That's where I see it. Of course, it's different for a lot of people because children are experiencing a lot of different things and they're going through a lot of different things, especially developmentally, trying to find their place with peers and things like that. So believing in them, no matter what they're going through, providing that safe place or that safe space for them and helping develop their thought processes and their interest. I think just believing in them as individuals, as potential leaders, as we believed in ourselves. That would be my take on that.
Thank you, Miss Staten. Anyone else?
Yes, ma'am. Naisha Witherspoon here. My belief in children is that all children can learn with adequate support and a foundation to help them learn, and all children are capable of growing with adequate support.
Thank you. Now, if you were asked to give an example of how you believe in children in the work that you currently do, how would you respond to that?
You're asking how would we believe in children?
So if you had to answer a question as it relates to your direct work in your
Mhm.
support of the belief in children. So I want y'all to understand you're getting yourselves prepped without me giving you anything, if that makes sense. Because the questions are related to these, but now it comes back to what is your story in the work that you currently do to support a response to belief in children.
I'd say maintaining high expectations as one of them, building positive relationships with students, celebrating them, encouraging them, creating that safe and inclusive learning environment. And then you can get more detailed into like things like differentiated instruction.
Thank you, Miss Mentor. I like that. Mr. Jeffries.
She kind of hinted at some things that I was going to say as well. Speaking to them daily, welcome them in the room, making them feel welcome and wanted. building relationships through conversations, making sure that they know that they are growing daily, showing their successes daily, and showing them what things are working and what things may need to be revisited and worked on with them. Kind of partnering with them to let them know this is you're a stakeholder. You have to know that this doesn't happen without you doing this part. So building that relationship, getting those kids to buy into what we're selling to them is a big part of them being successful and showing that I believe in.
Thank you.
And
All
I would
right.
also add to the partnership, helping students understand, children understand that it is a partnership with all stakeholders to include parents and guardians, teachers, and the collective efficacy of all involved should shine through everything we do within the building, how we support students, not only students, but their families as well.
Okay. Thank you. All right. So now we'll go to our next one. Building relationships and influencing others. So in general, what is that?
I would say, being a beginning teacher mentor, being there, being able to support someone who is struggling, who is having a difficult time. If we're talking about others as it relates to our colleagues, providing the necessary resources or being able to provide them with, as you guys are doing, providing us with what we need to know to get to our next place. As we aspire to move through this process. So building relationships, is just being transparent, in my opinion. Yeah, so that's my thought on building relationships. And
Mr.
not being
Jeffrey?
afraid to share information, share details. So
Thank you. Mr. Jeffries?
Yes, ma'am. I was just trying to make sure I don't forget anything. Consistency. That was one of the things that families, parents, children all notice. If you're there every day, I'm the same person every day. Every time you talk to me, I'm very consistent. As a teacher, I didn't start anything in the beginning of the year that I couldn't carry through the end of the year. So being consistent on a daily basis and know that this is a um, long-term thing. This isn't a daily thing or a weekly thing. This is more than a year. This is more than 2 years, 3 years, especially if you're a student that's below grade level. It's going to take you about 3 years to catch up, but I want you to be consistent. I want you to do this every day, and you will eventually get there. Some of the growth that I've seen this year has been tremendous. And the lasting thing that I want to leave with my students is don't stop. Don't quit after you leave my room. This needs to continue over the summer. This needs to continue no matter what teacher you get in middle school. Treating it like customer service. Letting those parents, those families know that we really care about them, leaving a lasting memory that is a positive one. Having a positive attitude with them no matter what is taking place, even if it's not your fault, being willing to say, I'm sorry. That customer service piece, somebody else makes a mistake, you go and say sorry for the company's behalf. How can I make this right for you? Taking that extra step, people notice that. Sometimes it's just a tough day and it's not your fault. But if you can do anything to help them, they will remember it. And then just staying positive. Sometimes that rubs off on other people and that kind of wiggles its way down to the kid eventually. And that's what we want. That's that belief. That's that positivity that we hope that they see later on in life and pass on.
Thank you. Mr. Tucker?
Yes, ma'am. I would like to include that children and relationships is very important because colleagues as well as students don't care how much you know, as the cliche goes, but it's very powerful until they know how much you care, and until you show interest and express interest and getting to know who they are as a person, um, who they are, not just what they present at the school level, but what they present outside of school, what their interests are, what they're interested in. Sometimes we'll find out that children aren't interested in anything because no one has expressed or no one has presented certain situations to them for them to be able to be exposed, to be able to see things that they would be interested in. And sometimes, as we have been before, sometimes we're afraid. We're afraid to try to be what we think we may not be able to be. There's a poem that says, "Our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate, but our deepest fear is that we're powerful beyond measure." Who are we to say that we're talented, beautiful, and gifted? But in actuality, who are we not to be? And so a lot of times our children don't realize that they're talented and they're gifted, and they have more than what they think they have. And I think that as educators, that's part of our job, is to bring that out of them, bring out of them what the plan is for them, because I believe that every one of us have a plan. And so when we talk about relationships, we have to look at a person not by just what we see, that
Thank you, Mr. Tucker. And Ms. Glass will be our last one for this one.
I will say that leadership, coming from a leadership perspective, I'm an assistant principal at a high school, and I would say leadership is the foundation. And it's not just building relationships with students. Like you have to have you have to build those relationships with everybody, all the teachers, all of the staff. And if you have that authentic, and it needs to be authentic, like the relationship has to be authentic relationship. So when you have that, that cuts back on the discipline. You have those that builds on the collaboration. It increases the morale in the school culture. So you're not only building relationships with students, you're building relationships with everybody in the building, and it does make a difference with all of those things that I just mentioned. And you have to make sure that those relationships are authentic relationships with all of the stakeholders in the building.
Thank you. All right, our next competency is establishing a culture of high expectations. So I want you to think about that for a moment in the work that you currently do. How do you help to establish a culture of high expectations? Think about the work that you do.
If I can start with that, I would say leading by example and be persistent about getting the information that you need to get it right. And for students, they are very needy, and I'm a nurturer in the classroom. So my expectation of them, I try to lead by example. I try to be that person who can show up for them every day and be present for them any at any moment. And I have constantly received students that'll just drop in and teachers who will just drop in, can you help? Can you help? You know, and I appreciate that so much. And if I can't get an answer, I will definitely work diligently to get them an answer. Um, but I think making sure that you know the rules, you know the guardrails, you know the guidelines, and this is what we must do, and this is how we must process and follow through. So the high expectations are even today. You know, I had a couple of them with cell phones, and I have a copy of the House bill posted on my bulletin board. And I said, now I'm not going to engage with talking about your reason for putting up your cell phone. I'm just going to point to the policy. This is why we must put up our cell phones. And that engaged into a conversation about different states. And they begin to talk about Texas. And they begin to, and that encouraged me because that meant that they are listening and they do realize the expectations, you know, are real and they are significant. So just leading by an example and just, you know, providing gentle nudges and encouragement along the way. So.
Okay, thank you. So I have Mr. Jeffries and Mr. Tucker, and I know we've got plenty of other friends in this Zoom space. So don't be afraid. I'm going to start doing my little teacher thing, and I'm just going to cold call in just a minute. All right, Mr. Jeffries. You're on mute.
I'm sorry, I didn't want to take up anybody's opportunity to speak. That's why I've been raising my hand so I don't try to speak over anyone. Um, but some thoughts that came to my head, definitely celebrating the successes of others, both children and staff and peers, recognizing this as a team sport, that we go further together in the classroom and as a staff and as a building. Um, I don't have to make you look bad to look good. Those are things that people with small minds do, people that are looking to grow and get better. I want everybody to grow because if you do better, I'm going to do better as a result. The math teacher builds on with the reading teacher who also celebrates with the science teacher. It all works together. Um, and being willing to share and creating a safe space to grow. Having real PLCs, having real conversations, having real data talks. And sometimes that's within teachers without any administrators or leaderships in the building, so they can actually collaborate and really think about what's going to work in this classroom for these kids, instead of feeling like maybe you're under the microscope. What's really going to happen? What's really going to work?
Okay, thank you. Mr. Tucker?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I would say being consistent and gaining the trust of your constituents, uh, making sure that you do what you say and you mean what you say and do what you say you're going to do. The follow through and making sure that everybody knows and that they see you, that you're visible. That builds with that connection and that connectivity, being seen, being visible, people seeing you doing the work that sometimes you may ask them to do. So it's not always that you're asking someone to do something that you would not do, but people understand that you're someone that doesn't mind getting your hands dirty and doing the leg work or the lifting as well. But most of all, over all of that is probably for me is just being consistent. People see that you're consistent and you're doing consistent things at a high level, and building that trust among your team, building that trust with students. When you tell students you're going to do something, and you make sure that you do it, because one thing about students, they don't forget when you tell them you're going to do something.
Thank you. I think Miss Glass, you were next, and then Miss Witherspoon.
Yes, and when I'm answering these questions, I'm thinking of it in the mind of an administrator already. So when I think about expectations, I'm not just focusing on the students, like for the whole school. So like defining what those expectations are. So what are my academic expectations? What are my behavior expectations? What are my professional expectations? And then also modeling what those expectations are. So like if if I expect my teachers to arrive to work on time, then I tell them that they need to be there at 7:30, I don't need to be pulling up at 8 o'clock. So modeling in that how I communicate with the teachers and students. I can't talk to a teacher, yell at them in front of a student, and then expect to say something to a student for yell to a teacher for yelling at a student. So also modeling and those expectations as well.
Thank you. Miss Witherspoon.
Yes, ma'am. Miss Glass said exactly where I was going. And not only are we, first of all, making sure everyone understands the meaning of high expectations, but we are also inviting everyone to the table to help us identify what those high expectations may look like across our school, across the school building. And then when I think about the culture, that's how we get the buy-in from our staff, from our students about what high expectations may look like. What does it look like in the classroom, as Ms. Class mentioned, when we're talking about instruction? What does it look like whenever we want to ensure that all students and staff are doing what it is that we've agreed upon to do? So it's all about making sure everyone at the table understands what high expectations are, what that looks like, and that we agree upon that on that together.
All right, thank you. All right, so we'll move on and I'll take, so we don't run out of time. Instructional leadership. So I want to know, how do you lead around instructional leadership? So I hope you are catching on to what I'm saying, because I want to hear the eyes. I statements. Hello. So that means I want you to tell me I. Okay?
Okay. If I can take a shot at this one. I, as an instructional leader, am focused on clarity. I cannot provide what it is that I'm expected to provide if it's not clear. So I focus on clarity and understanding because I'm transferring information and I'm imparting knowledge from me to students or to my colleagues. So I must know that I know or that I understand within reason exactly what it is that I am presenting. So, in brief, that's my take.
Thank you. Now I'm going to do a cold call. Who do I see right now? Mr. McClendon.
Do it. Hello, everyone. But I would say that when I was in my position as assistant principal, when I'm popping into the classrooms, I'm making sure that the teachers are teaching to the standards. Whenever I'm giving feedback, if they're not meeting the standards, I make sure that I give them some feedback that will allow them to grow and to so that they can build capacity, if you will. And so those are the types of things that I try to make sure that I'm doing when I'm going in. If I see students who are uh, not doing anything and the teacher's not saying anything to them, I try to make sure I bring those things to their attention as well, so that we can make sure that we're reaching every child and that they can they'll know that the learning is important and not just because if you let a child just sit back and do nothing, they will do nothing. And so then by the time you to the end of the year, somebody's going to be tired of another person. So, but if you go ahead and do what you're supposed to be doing, which is, engaging in that teaching and learning, that is what I make sure that I'm doing because I know that's going to be a win-win by the end of the year.
Thank you. All
Mhm.
right. I know I got a few hands up for this one. I'm gonna call one so that we can get moving because we still have to go through our other competencies. Miss Glass.
Okay, so I lead in instructional leadership by focusing on student learning and supporting teachers. When I'm walking into classrooms, I'm focusing on the instructional trends. So, like if I come into your classroom one time, the next time I'm looking at the trends, I'm sitting down with you, going over your data, I'm attending those POCs, looking at how you're doing that structured review. If I'm in a math PLC that using that math discourse, are you using numberhead? So I'm looking at all of the things that a teacher is doing, and I'm providing them the feedback that they need to grow in their instructional leadership and their teacher profession. So I'm looking at all those things, the trends, looking at the data, and then providing them that feedback. So when I come back the next time, I'm looking to see if that feedback that I provided, they're implementing and using that feedback to the best of their ability.
Thank you. All right, so moving on to our next competency, which is integrity. What is integrity, first of all?
What you do when no one is looking.
Okay. Mr. Jeffries.
I think Mr. McClendon beat me to it. It's what you do when no one's around. If you see some money on the floor and you know it's not your money, are you gonna just put it in your pocket? Or are you gonna see, okay, did somebody drop this? Maybe it belongs to somebody that really needs it. Some of those things really, really hit home. I remember getting that as an 18-year-old going into the military, service before self, that integrity and all we do. Um, those things still are kind of ingrained in me. And I realized what type of person it grows you into and how important it is for you to display that for children. It will stick with them when they see somebody with integrity. They live their lives to a higher standard, um, and it kind of spills over into daily life, into home, into the next generation coming up behind them. Um, this person taught me this, and they can pass it on like a story. Even though it's not a book, they are walking books. People will read them, people will see them, people will interact with them, and they're going to learn from them.
Thank you. So tell me, whoever's next, how are you leading with integrity currently, Miss Glass?
So integrity, it can be hard because it's doing the right thing even when it's tough, when you know it's tough. And as an administrator, I have experienced that. So like having those tough conversations with teachers, having those conversations with students, even though like even if you know that student may have not. Okay, let me just give you an example. So today I experienced that, like treating students fairly. I had a teacher write a student up for vaping in the classroom. And I met with that student, and that student was adamant that, like, Miss Glass, I was not vaping in the classroom. And like just now, a few minutes ago, while being on this call, I got another write up from that same teacher that the student was vaping in the classroom. And this is coming from an international teacher that's new coming in to the district, so they're not attuned to how the district everything works. So just having those tough conversations with students, like, okay, I understand what you're saying, but it's now in a situation where, okay, it's the teacher's word against the student's word. So treating students fairly, having those tough conversations with teachers, even though they may not like what you say, following up with those observations, having those tough conversations, just being consistent with your communication. So I feel like, yes, integrity in an admin role or leadership role can be tough, but we got to know how to approach those situations.
Thank you. Mr. Richardson, hello.
How are you doing? I'm sorry I'm late. I had a teacher parent meeting, so I'm a little bit late. But since did you asked a question that I'm very interested in about what is integrity. I think integrity is what Ms. Glass said about consistency, as in if you always consistent as an administrator, you showing your integrity. Whereas in if you always are the one who comes into a classroom and you try to make an impact each time you go into a classroom and you're consistent with it, that shows a lot of integrity. Whereas in that the teachers can kind of feel that when you go in there that you're going to have something, you're going to have a comment, you're going to have a response, you're going to have something that's just going to either help them or something that's going to make them think about something because when you go in there, each time you go in there, it doesn't matter whether or not that the teacher that you're looking for something to observe. They're going to ask, "What did you see?" And so, if you're consistent with trying to have a positive impact each time you go into a classroom, I think that says a lot for your integrity as an administrator.
Thank you. All right, our next one is stamina, initiative, and persistence. As a leader, how does that show up in the work that you do?
I want to tackle this one first. Even when you don't feel like it, you got to feel like it. And that's just getting up in the morning, first of all. Having the stamina is staying in there, even staying in the game when you're not comfortable. It's becoming comfortable with being uncomfortable while you're recognizing that you are there to serve a purpose. You're there to be supportive. You take the initiative. People follow because they know and they can trust and they believe that Miss Dayton's going to do exactly. Go to Miss Dayton. She'll give you the answer. She's going to find the answer. She's going to help you or whatever. And that's, yes, pat myself on the back because I did that today. Had to resolve an issue. But stamina is staying in the game, getting up, being present, showing up, showing everyone that you truly care, even when you don't feel 100 and you don't feel your best. And you know it's tough and you know you're struggling. You got to put a smile on your face. You got to keep moving. You must stay in the game. So, stamina, initiative, and understanding the rules. And don't be judgmental. Just have a non-judgmental focus. Listen to what the teacher is saying. Listen to what the student is saying. Help them process their thoughts before you speak or say anything. Listen to what they have to say. That's my take. Thanks.
All right, I'll take one more from the group with the hands up. Mr. Tucker.
Yes, ma'am. I believe the stamina and the initiative and the persistence piece is important because one must, and especially an administrator or a leader of anything, just a person of integrity, you need to be the same all the time. It's hard when you come into leadership, you begin to understand that it's hard to take off the leadership hat on Saturday or on Friday afternoon when you get off, and then get ready to put it back on Sunday evening to get ready to go back to work on Monday. One has to condition themselves and formate themselves and format themselves to be the same all the time. That means if I'm an administrator on Monday, I'm an administrator 24/7, 7 days of the week. There is no off time. Now, we all need breaks. Amen. We all need times to sharpen the saw, but there is no time where um, we should be different. We're going to make mistakes, yes, but we're the same person every day. When you see me on Monday, if you happen to see me on Saturday, you should see the same person.
Thank you. All right. Talent management and development. As a leader, how do you support talent management, and development in your building? And I'm just going to cold call Miss Blatchford. Hadn't heard from you tonight.
Hi. All right. So, thinking about talent management and development, I think being a leader in a school and focusing on this area really starts with the relationships that you have with your staff. I think that you have to have those strong relationships to be able to work with the teachers in your building and other support staff to identify their strengths and pick out areas that you can help them grow. I think when you have those strong relationships, you're able to have those conversations.
Thank you for sharing. Ms. Currents, would you like to add to that?
Sure. I think it is always looking for it as an administrator or anybody in the building, looking for leadership, whether it's a leader in the classroom or sometimes those students don't even see themselves as leaders, but you can see it in them. Same way with teachers. Sometimes that beginning teacher, after they come out of that BT3 role, you've seen something in them over the past 3 years with coaching them. You give them a new opportunity and they shine. So looking for those employees, teachers, staff, and students, and identifying that light, what they have inside of them that can develop even more. And so once you tap into that and let them shine, then they go on and they pass it on. So to me, it's just looking for that light that they don't even see in themselves.
Thank you for sharing. All right. And then strategic decision making and problem solving. What do you do as it relates to this competency in your work now? Mr. Jeffries.
I think definitely with strategic decision making, it has to be data driven, whether it's feedback from the staff, whether it's teacher working condition surveys, whether it's parent feedback from an open house or some type of Google form. I think the data to show what direction we need to go in is going to be crucial to steering the ship in the right direction, especially if it's relating to academics. Knowing what skill we need to work on, whether it's math that needs the energy or reading that needs the energy, or do we need to focus particularly on main ideas? That's something that we struggle with as a school. Do we need more training in this area to help get our teachers more prepared to be successful when implementing this instruction? I think a lot of that decision making has to be data driven and problem solving. I think being flexible as a leader is going to be important, being able to multitask, being able to deal with multiple problems at the same time, but also having foresight to say, okay, I can do this and eliminate 10 of these problems without even having to get into that problem, by making sure my teachers keep a good record. I'm making sure we go ahead and have these conferences by this date. That'll help establish these relationships and build that trust with families. So when the teacher does have to call for a negative reason, I've already had 4 or 5 conversations that are positive. So a lot of that problem solving, I think, could be preemptive to kind of see what obstacles may lie ahead in the road.
Thank you for sharing. Miss Price, I haven't heard from you. Can you give me an example of when you've had to do some strategic decision making at your school?
One example of when I had to use strategic decision making and problem solving, is like now I'm actually in a South Carolina school district. So of course we're now in our state testing. So in preparation, when we moved into second semester, we had to strategically look at the data to see how we could do certain things to make sure that our students were receiving enough intervention to meet the goals that they needed, to be thoroughly prepared for the testing. So we had to get together and kind of put everybody's ideas together and collaborate together, to come with the best way to make sure that we had those particular times where we could provide the support that the students needed to be more successful in the testing. So that is an example of strategic decision making, problem solving.
Thank you. All right. So thank you guys for engaging in this. So keep in mind all of the questions anytime that you may participate within any interview opportunities are centered around these 8 competencies. So questions are coming and built around this. And so what I wanted you to do was really think about your day-to-day work that you're doing. How are you showing up as far as doing the work in alignment with one of these competencies? Okay, so that's really what it's about. And of course, you all have been familiar with, yes, tell your story, tell your story, tell your story, but make sure to talk about the you and the work that you do and how it impacts with these competencies. So that's going to be key, as something that we want you all to be mindful of as you move into the next step at any time you come through our talent pool process in our screenings. Okay. Any questions about that? All right. So, if you look here where it says to join our team, this, of course, will definitely take you to our website that Jasmine showed you earlier. If you're in a MSA program planning to graduate soon, you could have started applying early, of course. And as Jasmine had mentioned, we would have just needed your letter of intent showing that you will be completing a program and things of that nature to be able to go ahead and get started in the process. So on our next slide, of course, is our CMS placemat. And this basically talks to us about what our focus is. And so you can see our district goals, our vision, our mission, our guardrails, and then our pillars of excellence, which is key for what we strive to make sure that we're engaging and supporting on a daily basis. It's about academic excellence, people excellence, operational and engagement excellence. And that's from all of our divisions and departments across the district. And then, of course, our key guardrails with ensuring that we have equity over equality and reducing those achievement gaps, our safety and security, attending to the whole child's well-being and engagement, and then making sure that we are staffing those high-quality teachers. And you see all of our goals as we're trying to continue to reach each and every year. So this is what we strive for in our work every single day. So if this is something that you would consider, why would CMS be for you? Just curious.
I like the fact that one of the goals that are, because these goals are part of the strategic plan, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So I do like the fact that the first goal is improve early literacy in grades K through 2, because I'm passionate about literacy. I have an elementary background. I taught elementary across grade levels for 12 years, and my dissertation topic is focused on the science of reading. As we speak right now, um, K through 5 administrators' perceptions of teachers' implementation of the science of reading. I feel like K through 2 is the foundational piece where students are learning to read. Because by the time they get to third grade, they should already be understanding the vocabulary and the comprehension. And I've noticed now, even in high school as an assistant principal, we still have students who cannot read. So I'm very passionate about reading, literacy. I actually want to maybe one day be a literacy consultant while I travel and do PD on the side and talk about literacy. And I also want to use my dissertation once I'm done to like go to talk to people about like this is what that foundational piece starts with the science of reading. Students need to learn to read because they have to read math, they have to read science, they have to read everything. So I'm really passionate about that. I'm excited to dive into my dissertation topic because that is my passion, that's my interest. So that first goal in itself, and the second one too as well, improving literacy skills in grades 3 to 8, it sticks out to me.
Thank you. Anyone else?
As a I too would have to say the K2 lower grades is my passion, and that literacy piece. But couple that with also that mentorship piece in those lower grades, as I see you speaking about the whole child, and supporting the whole child, it is so necessary and so critical as a middle school assistant principal, as I see not at the high school level, but at the middle school level, seeing kids come into middle school not knowing how to write complete sentences and being unable to read third grade level books. And so I would also say that that is a strong passion of mine, not only the formation of the literacy piece, but coupled with also the mentorship piece in those lower grade levels. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Jeffries.
It seems very ironic. It seems like it's kind of a perfect fit for my personality and my academic journey. I've spent 20 years in elementary education, well, basically split between a third grade teacher and a fifth grade teacher, teaching all subjects, math, science, reading, transition pretty much from analog to digital, and seeing the different programs come through and making the most out of each of those programs. I feel like right now I'm the best version of myself as an educator. I've been the best version of myself as each year comes by. And it feels like the kids are getting better. It may be a transition that I'm going through and it feels like I'm getting better, but I do see, growth with the kids that I'm getting. I'm seeing results with the kids, especially this year as a literacy teacher. Um, the blue is happening, not the red, not the yellow, but the blue is really, really coming along. Um, the vision, the academic excellence, the people, the engagement, all that just kind of sounds like what my journey has been at this time. So I think um, I actually am a product of CMS. Didn't spend my whole career there, but I did graduate from there. So I do feel a deep connection with CMS also on that personal level as well.
Thank you for sharing.
And if I can add, understanding developing the whole child and not just that moment. As he mentioned, being a product of CMS, and so am I. Understanding that where you want them to be, you're there to help shape their destiny. You're just not there as a teacher in the room or the voice to be heard. You're there to help build them, help them find their voice, and providing them the structure and the order that they need to be able to go out and function in a civilized manner in a civilized society versus the opposite of which we all don't like to see.
Thank you. And if you guys have heard our superintendent always say, our goal is to ensure that our students come out with one of the 3 E's: employed, enlisted, or enrolled.
Enrolled.
Yes, that is our goal. So ensuring that we provide them with whatever opportunity is needed for the track that they're on, and we make sure we give them those tools needed to be successful wherever they're landing next. So then one of the next things that we want to just kind of share with you, and Jasmine is going to give you a quick snippet of, what the pay would look like in CMS if that was something that you were to consider.
All right, so on this screen, I just simply took a screenshot. If you were to click on this image, it will take you to just our CMS compensation, and you're able to see this at a better view. But one thing I just like to share is just that really overview and comparison of the state rate and then what CMS's supplement looks like. And so we do have them split by grade band. So we have or grade levels. We have elementary, middle, high. And so one of the number one questions that I get is if I have spent 20 years in the classroom and now I'm going into an administrator role for the first time, what does that look like as far as like the pay? You do not start all the way over. Your years on your DPI license will follow over. So if you have been in the classroom, if you've been in North Carolina, teaching for 10 years, then and you're at an elementary school, then you would just literally follow it right over. So the AP pay plan is something that was pushed out this year, and so it really just allows everyone to be able to have a glance at what your pay and your compensation will be, as you're expressing interest and as you're starting to look at what's next for you in your career. So I'll just open it up to any questions if you have any.
How does national boards play into the salary scale?
Yep, that's a great question. So, unfortunately, there's not a national board AP pay scale, and so there is not a national board differential or supplement for assistant principals or principals.
It's just for teachers, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, just for teachers only.
Is there a supplement for a doctoral degree?
There is. So if I were to click on.
Great question, Jonathan, because I was going to ask you.
Yeah. So I'll go ahead. So I clicked on it and now I opened it all the way up. So this here in the yellow AP Masters, if you scroll down, then there's AP Advanced. Ooh, that was really big. My eyes are so bad. I can't read a thing. There we go. So we have AP Advanced, then you keep going and you have AP Doctorate. So, and then you'll see the difference over here in that first column. Years on DPI license, the doctorate is listed there. So LD, and you'll notice a difference in advanced, it's just LS, and then masters, it's just the L.
So if I'm coming in with 13 years of experience, no matter, I will be at L13 with the doctorate.
Correct. Yep. So once and I mean, that's after, applying that with DPI and going through that separate process. It also involves when the state rolls over. And again, we're at the mercy of the state. It doesn't always happen the same day or the same month, even sometimes. So I think a few things that factor into that, but essentially, yes.
Would that also go for persons who have most of their experience out of state and coming into North Carolina for the first year?
So that point, at that piece, I would really direct it to licensure and compensation to see how those years will translate into North Carolina. Don't want to step outside of that lane. But there would be a view of your years of experience. Let's say it is South Carolina. We obviously know that there is reciprocity between South Carolina and North Carolina. So just looking to see what that is and really pulling in some different departments in HR to come together and look at that.
And once you guys have access to this presentation, so you'll be able to click on that image and it'll take you to where Jasmine just opened up. So you'll be able to see that for yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, of course, as we begin to close out, Charlotte has a lot going on. I think it was one that we left off of here, our Knights baseball team. That was the other one we were supposed to add. But of course, we have a lot going on, and it's the big city as we call it. So, that's another attraction for CMS as well. But one of the things we want is your feedback. So please share any feedback. When you click on the image that is on the screen that says feedback, it will take you to a Google form. We would appreciate any information that you have. If you have additional questions, you are welcome to put your questions in there, and we would contact you directly just to share any information that you feel you might need more of. But we hope tonight has been a little bit helpful to just kind of give you an idea of what our talent pool process is for principals and APs. Understand one of the things that we didn't go into detail is references. So references are going to be a key thing that you do have to make sure that is included with your documentation. And one of those references should be a current supervisor. A current supervisor. I know sometimes we're like, well, they don't know who I am, or I don't know if I have a great relationship with them, but we do have to check with a current supervisor. So making sure that that is one of your actual references that you submit, and then ensuring that they know that they need to be a reference for you, because that's another key piece that sometimes holds up your application when we're doing review, is references not being completed. So we can't move forward unless we have all of your information submitted. So we can't have half of it here and half of it there. It has to be a complete review of all the things together. So just keep that in mind as you guys consider applying, if that is your desire. Miss Glass.
I just have a question. So because I do plan moving to Charlotte is my goal. I'm in Mebane right now, but so once we're into like how long does, and I'll be applying as an external candidate or whatever, so I'll be entering as an external candidate. Like how long is the process on whether or not I will get into the pool?
Good question. So one of the things that we are working hard on our end, and I understand you're looking at our entire team on this screen with you. That is Jasmine and myself. So every single application that comes through is what we are responsible for doing. So, but our goal is to try to make sure that we can get at least the initial application review in between 2 to 4 weeks, just because this is peak season for us.
Peak season.
Seriously. So, and anybody is trying to get everything in as our pool closes May 31st for this school year cycle. So 2 to 4 weeks is our time frame. Off peak, it's not as long. Okay.
Yep. I just to add to that, I think when we're just thinking about the timeline and, really viewing an applicant for the first time, it's going back to what Shantilia said. It's making sure that your application is complete. The way the system is set up, you can hit submit, but your references are still pending. So going back to building relationships, if you could, of course, we're probably sharing with our direct supervisor that these are my intentions. At the same time, okay, I'm planning to submit over the weekend. If you could complete my reference, my confidential reference, it will come to your email, and maybe just put a soft deadline. It's they're unaware that it's not a final deadline, but it really supports you. And by the time we do get to that application, that's not okay, that's a pause. I have to reach out, and we provide that extension, because we will, once we review it, we'll communicate if something is pending, if something is incomplete, and things of that nature. But just knowing that that does provide a 7-day window. And again, communication is a two-way. So as soon as you receive that email, that okay, all I needed to do was update something. Making sure that you do reach back out to us, so that way we can review that application again.
So it doesn't matter like that I am an external candidate, as long as I have the documents that I need that will not interfere with.
Oh yes, we do not differentiate internal, external. We go in the order that we receive them.
Because I know there has been in some districts, it's like, okay, we're going to look at the internal candidates first, but as long as I have what I need, is okay, my stuff will get reviewed.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Okay. And what is the deadline again? May
May
the
31st.
Okay. Thank
And
you.
remember, it's in the, it's in the order in which received. So
Okay.
we're going through them in order.
Mhm.
Thank you.
All right.
Mr. Jeffries, I think I see your hand.
Yes, ma'am. So if we are in the talent pool and we've gotten a few interviews, how is that again? Will that school directly contact us to set up an interview, or once we're in the pool and we've gotten through that first wave, and you send us those direct applications? How does that exactly happen again?
Yeah, so after you have received a vacancy and you're expressing interest, as a team, we will review them, and selected candidates are invited to participate in various interviews. And so at this time, you are waiting, and you're continuing to monitor your email linked with your application, and then as you receive an invitation, then that is the like you're going through that hiring process with that specific school.
And they would directly set up in-person interview, or would it be through
Yeah,
video
so
or?
there's various. So we do have a mixed. We have some virtual, some in person. Our panel interviews are always in person, and then we have virtual screening interviews. But I would be a familiar face in all of that as well. Chantilly will be a familiar face as you continue to go through those different phases and get towards the end of that hiring or interviewing series of interviews. So the principal would either contact. I sometimes just send out emails to express like, okay, you're being invited to participate in this interview. So it'll come from someone in the hiring team.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you guys for your time this evening, Dr. Lamb. I know we are way over. I'm
You're
sorry.
fine. We're good. They
Well, we
appreciate having y'all rather than me. I can tell you that. Look at them all nod their head up and down.
Well, thank you guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Enjoy your weekend, and we look forward to your feedback.
All right. Thank you very much. I downloaded the
Thank you.
presentation.
All right.
I'll
Thank
post
you.
it in all the shells and send it out to all the folks who we invited tonight. Again, Miss Guy and Miss Blow, thank you for being with us tonight. All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Good night. A couple of things. Let me get this out of my way so I can see y'all better. Jonathan, to your point, you don't reach out to principals in Charlotte Mecklenburg. Everything's got to, they were very clear. Everything's got to go through them. This is not, the local hometown where you see the principal, call the principal, send the principal your resume. You don't do that in Charlotte. That they will get. Sean's shaking her head. Sean's gone through the process. Sean, tell us about the process. She went through it most recently.
Yeah, so I am a current assistant principal in CMS. Jasmine was actually in one of my interviews, but yeah, once you're in the pool, you receive applications for openings that are within the district for elementary, middle, and high school, and you can apply for it. And after that, they will reach out to you if you pass their screener and they want to invite you for an interview. I went through 3 rounds of interviews. The first one was an in-person panel interview. The second one, we went on an instructional walkthrough, and then the third one was a final panel interview that was virtual, and that was with the area superintendent. So
So,
it's definitely a tedious thing to get into to apply to the pool, making your resume, making your letters, then they interview you after that. After they receive your resume and your interest letter, if you pass the screener of just, looking at it, they'll invite you for an interview to get into the pool. So then if you pass that round of interviews, you'll be in the pool, and then from there you're able to see what's open and what's not.
right.
That was kind of my question because I'm in the pool and
Oh
I'm
yeah.
getting the things right now. So I'm seeing, okay, once I've applied to this school, what happens after that? So that was my question. So I have 3 more rounds after I've directly applied to that school after I got that email because I've got about 3 or 4 emails already.
Correct.
The main
If
thing
they
is you
reach
get the tool.
out to interview you for them. So you can apply for them and you may not hear back from them. And if it's a school that you really specifically want, then I would reach out to either Miss Guy or Miss Blow and see what they say, because they're the ones that are reviewing those applications to the internal candidates or people that are in the pool already. Especially if you don't hear back from anyone about getting an interview for that school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So the main
remembering
thing is
back.
getting into the pool.
That's the first hurdle.
So
Yeah.
the main
Yeah.
thing is getting into the screener and getting into the pool.
That getting to the pool, and you
Mhm.
don't deal with anybody at the school level on that. That's with the HR. Remembering back to the MSA, to the MELS program, we talked about the four levels of interview, the first being the pool interview.
Mhm.
That's what they were talking about tonight, the pool interview. And then there's three more after that. Again, there's a group interview, and they generally have civilians, like parents. And that's when they're trying to make sure that you don't use jargon that's over their head. And then you have like a school interview, school level, and then you have one where the area superintendent who, will recommend you. So it's a long and tedious process. The main thing is don't jump the protocol and contact the school. If you do that, you'll be out of the pool. I'll just tell you the downside. Um, you know, it's a hurry up and wait game, but if you don't follow their protocol, they're very punitive. Now, my part tonight was going to be the disciplinary data manual. I'll just post a link. Y'all have seen it before. I want to follow up on one more thing. Yeah, they got ball teams in Charlotte. There's a golf tournament this weekend. Woohoo! It's big time. But now, one of the things that they didn't stress enough, and I was on with the principal before this one started in Charlotte, that commitment time. Let me look at it right quick, and I won't just guess at it. I'll get it right here from their little stamina, initiative, and persistence. Um, that means that you're expected to be on call 20 hours a day. I've told you that. They even write it into their strategic plan. 424, you better be on it in 4 hours and have it done in 24. And they ain't playing about that either. There's a reason why they have a pool and they have hundreds of applicants because they don't keep people long. Charlotte's the NFL, not for long. If you went home at 5 o'clock and didn't respond to an email at 6:30, that won't go well. I can tell you, there is no go home. You might be at home, but you better be available. Now you better know that before you go. They're not going to change for you or your schedule. Charlotte's been that way since I've been associated with them since the 1970s. It's always been this way, always, and it's not going to change. That's just not going to. Um, if you like getting off at 5 o'clock and having your weekends in small town America, then you better stay in small town America, because there's going to be a lot of being told what to do and not to do in Charlotte. And the time on the clock is immaterial to when that comes. There is no, you're not making furniture. Everybody thinks, well, I can do that. Look at that salary. It looks a whole lot better. Yeah, but if they're paying you by the hour, you make about a quarter an hour, because you're going to have to catch another gear. I'm just going to tell you before you go. I don't care where you are, you're going to have to catch another gear if you go to Charlotte. And it's going to be that personal time.
I will say, like this past weekend, like I was working until 11 p.m. on Friday and Saturday night, trying to make sure I'm responding to emails and things are done for, especially right now, it's Maycember. So I work 10-hour days just being on campus, and then you go home and you keep working.
You just keep on going. You
Yeah,
just keep on.
it's
I
the same
mean,
here.
where do you
Mhm.
think I'm not that good, or I'm not that dedicated, but where do you think I learned it? That I just go home and just keep right on going and call and take calls on the way home because I did that for so long. I'm just in that mode. I wish I could turn it off. But I'm just telling you, a lot of people can't find that gear and don't make it in Charlotte. Good people. I'm not talking about that don't have the ability. They just can't. They can't find that gear, or they can't sacrifice the things in their life that matter to them to find that gear. Hard work and sacrifice, again, my usual rant. They are not synonyms. Hard work is the expectation. Sacrifice is what you'll give up in order to be able to do that hard work. And they expect that in Charlotte. That's just the way it goes. Um, it's a great place to work. Compensation, facilities, living in Charlotte. it is truly the big time, and a lot of people want to compare to see if they can make it in the big time. It is the major leagues. It is that. But boy, it's hard to get there, but it's even harder to stay. It's even harder to stay. There is no, boy, I made it. I can take my feet off the pedals and coast now. It's uphill all both ways every day. There's never any downhill coasting ever. Summer, it only gets worse. Summer, it only gets worse because there's no kids in the building to feed off their energy. And, it's just a desk job in the summertime, and it's just a killer. It's just a killer. But, if that's what you want to do, it's a great place. If you want, I want to be the best. I know I can do it. You go. But know before you go. And uh, I believe that desire is the most important thing, is that the desire to do that. And that you're not bitter or angry or resentful of the hours that you put in, that you understand it's for the greater good. Um, if you can do that, you can make it. All right, that's enough rant for tonight. Appreciate you all being here this evening. Again, I'll post in there. Again, we've talked about the disciplinary data manual. Um, It is the Bible on reporting disciplinary incidents. It's what most assistant principals get tripped up on the most. They don't do their due process. They don't call the police. They don't enter the incidents in a timely fashion. And those things will get you won't last a week in Charlotte if you don't do those things, especially. All right, Lisa, you got a question before we go?
Did you say you had to talk about some summer changes, or was that something else? No, you already talked
All
about
right,
that.
y'all are going to have Dr. Patterson. Just remember that. Yeah. Not y'all are going to have Dr. Patterson for 7:40. And let me see. Let me share my screen.
And we received the email about for the dissertation course. Assuming it's 7:42 that the credits they lowered
Those
the
60
credit.
hours.
Yeah, well, but that's the semester after. That'll be for the
Okay.
fall.
Okay.
Y'all will be in 741 this summer, and it will still be 3 hours.
That was
Now, the
okay.
normal has been is that when you went to 742, which is your first semester dissertation only, it was 6 hours. They've lowered that to three.
I
So
saw
you'll
that.
be in three in perpetuity until you graduate,
Okay, cool.
rather than six and then three. So they're cutting 3 hours off of it. That they're not lowering the expectations. They just trying to cut the cost.
Gotcha.
Um, and so um, in my shell for 738, I'm also, let me share my screen. Let's look at my shell right quick. Let's go here. So this is 738. Summer residency dates in Charlotte again. Patterson, these two have been collapsed. I've got these. Fisher's out, Patterson's in. Here's her weekends, May 31st, June 13 and 14. Now, the only way that you can miss that one is to call in dead. This is your dissertation weekend conference. This is mandatory attendance on June 13, 14, and then July 18, 19. These are your 3 dates. Again, this is no longer Fisher. This is now Patterson. So that's where y'all will be this summer in 740. All right. And let me do this while I'm thinking of it. Create a document, content, and attach. All right. So this is the book for summer. You can download it as a PDF. It'll save you. This is a very expensive book. Uh,
Thank you.
you're welcome. 740 textbook.
Thank you, Dr. Lamb.
Well, it'll save you $200.
Oh, absolutely. Thank
Yeah.
you.
That's a tank of gas.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I saw the price on that. I said, I believe I'll buy that one and give it to him. I'll take the hit on that one.
We appreciate you.
We sure do, because
Well,
tuition is already a beast.
I know, and I'm so pleased. Now, I would like to tell you that I had something to do with the reduction, but they probably didn't listen to me. But that's another $2,000. I told you we priced ourselves out of the market, and so I'm glad that we've cut 3 hours off and just download your textbook for summer. You'll be fine. And um, I think that I wanted to do this, create a link to this. It's right here. This is your reporting manual copy. You go back to that. Let me move some of this stuff out of the way. All right, there we go. So there's your textbook. There's the link to the manual. My dissertation shell. Right here it is. If you've got to go to that, if you're not enrolled in it and you want to be, you can self-enroll. Uh, I think it'll let you, once you get there, you can self-enroll in mine if you want to send me stuff through my shell to check your AI or whatever if you don't have it.
I sent you something. I don't know if you received it. I never
You
got
got
any
to email me. Now remember, this one is not a live shell.
Okay.
You have to tell me that something's in it. Let's see if I got something in it or not from you.
I posted it in one of those. I don't know which one it was, but there it is, right there.
There it is, right there. All right. All right. I'll check it in a few minutes and send you the results. All right. Okay. Anybody else have anything else for the good of the group? I will see y'all in Charlotte on the 30th of this month. Again, if you've not finished your evidence, whatever class you're in this semester, make sure you finish your evidence so that you keep up with your task stream. Graduation is tomorrow, so I'll be off the air from about 5 in the morning when I leave to go to graduation until probably tomorrow night late. But I'll try to catch up on anything else that comes in. I've already turned final grades in all my classes. I just projected down the road what y'all might do. So don't make a liar out of me. Turn your stuff in. I've already sent my grades in. I'm always the last one, so I made sure I was the first one this semester. They'll still be complaining about something. Then yesterday they were complaining about somebody else, and I'm like, well, why'd you call me? Should have called her. Would have been more helpful. Well, we didn't have her number, so you got to call her. Okay. So we got that taken care of today. So I think we're good. I've had a great time. The 30th with Dr. Patterson, and I'll make sure she gets the memo on the book. Y'all aren't signed up for the Bulldog Bundle, so they shouldn't charge you. You should be fine. All right. I've enjoyed it. It's been a good time this semester. Thank you all. I'll see
Okay.
you the 30th in Charlotte. Everybody have a
Thank you.
good break.
Thank
Okay.
All right.
you. Thank you for
Dr.
inviting the
Lamb.
CMS
Thank
people.
you.
I
Thank
appreciate
you
that.
for the invite.
Bye-bye. Jonathan?
Yes, sir. Just a second, I want to talk to you for a second.
All right.
And I'm going to call you, Dr. Lamb, in a few minutes once you
Sounds good.
Okay. Bye-bye.
The last email that you sent, I wasn't sure, was that directed at me or were you talking to Dr. Stone, or is it something else that I need to do
No, I submitted yours, did I not? Did you not get the submission notification?
The last one I saw you sent to me, Dr. Everson, Dr. Stone.
Let me
And you told me
see.
you submitted, but then it was a reply after that about making sure that everybody says votes on it, yes. And Dr. Rivers
Yep,
said
I
yes,
got
but I got
that. Let me go to sent items to Jonathan. Uh, all right. So my last was for you to. Okay. All right. Hmm. Let me go here. Let me do that right quick. Okay. Yeah, everything was good. Oh, yeah. All right. Okay. Let me go back here now. Mm, No, no, that's not it.
this meeting tonight was very helpful, Dr. Lamb. Like it
Good.
really, yeah, I really appreciate you inviting me to this, especially knowing these ladies had already been looking at my stuff.
Well, I hope.
I was hoping they remember my name. Kind of popped up. Yeah, we
I
did
hope
check him off.
so.
And when Angelicia said she was from Mebane, I just got done doing some door dashing in Mebane. I just dropped off some pizza.
Okay. All right. All right. Go here. Yeah, yours is fine. All right. Okay. All right, you're good to go.
Okay. So what do I need to do now? Work on my
Well, we're waiting
PowerPoint?
on him after the blackout's up. We'll hear something here in a couple of weeks, but remember, we're in blackout right now.
Yes, sir.
So,
From Dr. Bull?
yeah.
Okay. Do you
Yeah,
want me
we're
to go ahead
waiting.
and start working on my PowerPoint presentation?
Yep. And
Okay.
so let's see, did I send you an example?
No, but I set in on one, I think.
All right.
I
So,
kind of took little screenshots of seeing how it was set up, but I would love an example too.
all right. So let me share my screen right now. Share. Okay. Let's see. You're doing qualitative only?
Yes, sir.
All right. Why don't we do like Carter's probably? Something like his would probably be the best. Let's see. Inbox from Carter. No, let's do Marquise. From Marquise. That's her final.
And once I got something good, you want me to send it to you, see if it looks presentable?
Yep.
Okay.
Here we go. I'm gonna just forward the whole thing to you. There you go.
Thank you, sir.
All right. It's good to see you tonight.
Absolutely. You have a
All
great
right.
evening.
Have a good evening.